So Dino, it's PPF Inclusion in Sport Week. Our game's evolved massively in the last however many years, certainly since I've been involved, but I know obviously you've been a professional for 3 years now. What have you seen in the last 3 years, but even before then?
Yeah, I mean, you know, since when I sort of started out as a pro, I think the progress from the first original regional systems to where we're at now has been massive. I think not only the standard of cricket has increased hugely across the country, but you know, the amount of people coming to the games and in the crowds paying for tickets, like everyone's got a little Vipers hat on here and there around the stand. So I think that visibility as well has gone massively, and I guess moving into the Darwin project and over to, we're going to align with county cricket next year, I think there's only bigger things to come really.
Yeah, I mean last summer I think was a massive summer, wasn't it, for the game in terms of both Ashes, and I think probably one thing that stood out for me was all of those games being sellouts in most of the Ashes women's games. How was it to be part of that? And I mean, you must have come and watched the Ashes back in the day, probably when I was playing, unfortunately. Was that just an unbelievable summer?
Yeah, I mean, it really felt like an event. It really felt like something, and the people were showing up to watch as well. I certainly felt slightly different from my debut in Bristol against New Zealand, like where we had a decent crowd, but you know, no one was. It was more supporters of cricket, not supporters of like the team, and it really feels like we're growing that fan base, and people are coming out to watch women's cricket. And I remember I definitely came to Hove here to watch an Ashes game when I was a kid back in the day, and I think it was so accessible. We were able to just walk up to the players, and there weren't too many. I don't know how you remember it, but it wasn't like a packed out crowd.
Not like today.
No.
I mean, and for domestic game of cricket to have this many fans or school children in was unbelievable, wasn't it? The noise out there, I think this has got to be probably one of the biggest games or fans we've had in for the games. How is it playing in front of this crowd today, certainly at this domestic level?
I think it was brilliant. Like it really helped us like get up for the game. I think playing in front of people and in front of maybe kids who haven't come and watched cricket before, let alone women's cricket. So it was quite nice to feel like we were sort of introducing them to how, you know, we play the game, and hoping that, you know, they'll come again with their families or whoever else. So yeah, it felt pretty special today. You know, we were warming up, doing our boundary catches, and everyone was getting up for it, and it was quite funny. Didn't want to drop one, but no, it's amazing how, you know, we're filling grounds like Hove now as a regional cricket team that in our first year we probably wouldn't have dreamt of something like that.
So you would have grown up watching your dad play. Like, how's the game evolved in that time? I mean, did you play boys or girls cricket growing up, and to think now there's all girls cricket?
I guess through my pathways I just played boys club cricket all the way through. I've never really played girls club, but the access that everyone has now to clubs, and I imagine it would have been similar for you rocking up playing for your boys team.
It was a bit different back then, Dino, to be fair. You know, to think that I never knew that women play cricket until I was 12 or 13, and I watched the World Cup final in 1993 on the BBC. And that was the moment I realised women play cricket, and I didn't have to play for the England men's team, because at that point that's all I knew. And so I'd only ever been sort of involved in men's cricket and boys cricket, and I found it quite challenging, because it wasn't a particularly inclusive sport, because you turn up to a cricket club and there weren't any changing facilities, and that was quite challenging and quite daunting for a young sort of 10-year-old, 11-year-old. But now what I'm most proud of in the game now is that those barriers don't exist. It's actually a young girl will turn up anywhere in this country and feel included and want to play the game. And I guess the ECB have wanted it to be a sport for everyone, and it certainly is. It feels that way now, doesn't it? And I wouldn't want a young girl to turn up like I felt. I mean, it was only because I really loved cricket. You know, I'm the biggest badger around, that I wanted to desperately play cricket, but I didn't feel necessarily that it was a sport for me, or it wasn't deemed a sport for girls at that point. So
I think even I probably felt like that when I was growing up. But I think I was lucky, and the club that I was at was super supportive, and the guys I had in my team, you know, I just felt like one of the lads. But certainly daunting for a young girl. I think it's amazing the schemes that are in place now. Chancellor Stein did a bulk of the work early doors. I know you had a big part in that. But yeah, All Stars and Dynamos cricket just really it takes away the stigma of, or it makes it easy for everyone to get involved, which is what we want.
Yeah, well, I remember opening the batting or playing with you in 2016, and when I look now, that was Hampshire, and to think now where the club's gone to in since 2016, to think we're now a fully professional cricket team. And at that point, I think we were even paying to play, weren't we, Dino? And even paying for our own kit. I mean, how the times have changed, hey?
I remember forking out a match fee every game, or we'd always be fuming because Surrey got their kit for free, but we had to pay for ours, or little bits like that. And imagine playing in a skirt wasn't easy as well.
No, they were probably, that was probably the best time in my cricket career when we finally got told we didn't have to wear a skirt again. In 1996, I played my first Test match in a skirt, and then we turned to trousers in 97. So yeah, but I think that's what I kind of go back to is 8 years ago, we were travelling down to Wales playing games in club grounds, where now even the county teams get to play at Utilita Bowl or wherever, Sophia Gardens and places like that, which it's just happened so quickly, hasn't it? I guess the rise of the women's game.
Yeah, massively. And I think rocking up to Basingstoke to play a Hampshire game, as good as it was, I think we've moved past that now, and I think we sort of deserve to be playing on proper pitches where we can showcase the talent that counties and regional cricket has.
But I think the last probably 2 years is just, I guess the growth has been, off the scale really, hasn't it? You've gone from an England team where now so many contracts and obviously now match payments and all of that. I mean, you must just be living the dream.
It certainly makes it so much easier to be able to drive to games and know that you're not in debt. You know what I mean? It's not at your own expense, or it just, I guess, makes it easier to go out there and perform like it should be, like the men how they get it. So yeah, it's definitely progressed so much, and in the 3 years that I've played for England, I think we've been really lucky in which contracts are going up and we're getting a bit more financial gains for what we do, but that means that we have to fill stadiums, we've got to play really good cricket, and if we're accountable to that as professionals as we should be.
And I think we're starting to feel that now at a domestic level, is that with the new Tier 1 system, that hopefully now we will be attracting so many more people to come and watch us. We've already had some big crowds this summer here and obviously at Utilita Bowl, but to think next year we'll probably have 15 pros now, and being paid well, and obviously the opportunities in the 100. I mean, for a young girl now starting off in the game, it's incredible, isn't it? And it's such an inspiration. I guess I feel really proud to say there's a career in the game, and a very, very good career now.
Do you ever feel like you wish you were one decade after, or?
Absolutely not. I feel like the luckiest person in the world that I've got to, I guess, be on this women's cricket journey that's just been so special. I guess I did pay for my own blazer, but equally now I get to get the best seat in the house now, watching the best players in the world in the corner of a dugout in most places in the world, and getting paid for it. And and I think I don't have any, I don't envy any of you, because you have different challenges now. There's performance, you're on TV all the time, you can't really get much wrong anymore. But it's so great, isn't it? And I come to every England game or any game now just sitting there with a massive smile on my face, because I think it's just been an incredible sort of few years really in the sport.
And I think credit to you and your teammates. I think you do go overlooked sometimes in the role that you've had in getting us to where we are. So
obviously the PCA have played a massive part in I guess the domestic contracts, the England contracts and so on, and the support they give players around the country. I mean, you've felt that firsthand. How has that been?
Yeah, I guess sort of having someone in your corner to fight the battles that maybe you don't understand in terms of contracts, and knowing how things work and what we can push for. I think PCA have been really pivotal in getting us to where we are. Also the one-to-one support that they give, the education that we get, EDI, everything that goes into that. I think it's really important. Mental health support, now that the game changes and evolves in a different way. I guess there are different pressures, and I imagine like the support for that now is unbelievable compared to maybe what you had.
Yeah, and the support at regional level I think is pivotal, like you say, because those players are on the journey for the first time, as you've probably been obviously playing for England, but it's so important that they've got that support, and it's not one of the staff in the team, because they need that outlet, they need that support from outside. And it's been really beneficial for us as an organisation to have the PCA to support the players, and I know certainly all the regional players and domestic players have really enjoyed that. So the 100's been, I think, probably a game changer for the women's game, I think, but I think for the sport in general. How have you enjoyed playing in the 100, and what have been the real benefits, I think, of playing in it and for the game?
Well, I think playing in the 100 really prepared me in a way that I didn't think it would for playing for England. I think, the crowds that we had, played for Spirit at Lords, playing at the bigger venues in front of people. The double headers have worked really well in terms of getting people to watch, and then maybe the next year they come and watch just for the women, or to watch both rather than just we'll stay for the women's game. I guess it's more like, we can go and watch 2 games of cricket. That's great for the price of 1. And also the facilities that we've had access to. It's been. It's the same for the men training in the morning, the women training in the afternoon, same facilities, same space, and treated a bit more like equals, which maybe hasn't happened within regional, where people are fighting for facilities and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember the second year actually, when you guys were playing in the Commonwealth Games, that the tournament was reduced, and I remember the men, actually a lot of the men's team at the Brave coming up to me and saying, like, we really miss the women, because we really love the fact that it feels like a really good day out, and I think they really missed that support when they got to the ground, and that sort of one club, 2 team feel, which, and we've certainly got it down at the Brave, because I guess there's quite a lot of crossover from Hampshire and the Vipers, which is really nice. And I think that's been probably one of the biggest success stories, is just how integrated the men and women are now, not just across counties but in the 100. Is that something you feel as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think sort of when you finish playing, a couple of questions, and then, how's it playing? Much spin, or sort of those cricketing conversations that we probably wouldn't have had because maybe we wouldn't have been at the same venue, or nothing to do with it. So it's quite nice that you feel like you get a bit more of that respect, because they know exactly what you're going through, how much you put in. And yeah, it's nice to be able to share, and it feels like a family, I guess, a bit more whole. It's quite nice.
Well, a lot of the guys I speak to now, they actually prefer watching the women's game over the men's game, I think, because I think and I'm the same. I sometimes like watching men's cricket over women's cricket. You feel like you should job when you're watching the women's game. When you watch the men's game, you watch it as a fan, and the men have said exactly the same to me about that. So it's nice to hear that they've now, as a result of being close with their women's teams, that they now follow the England teams and so on across the world and any time of day on the TV, because there's so much cricket now on TV, which is another progression, isn't it? Like when I played, I think we had 2 or 3 games a year on Sky. Now every single game you play would be on TV, which is incredible, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I think, and being on the BBC with the 100 and things like that, free to air, and yeah, just as many eyes watching as bigger as we can get it. I guess the more comes through from the bottom, and we can keep progressing. So I guess the big question is sort of what's next.
Yeah, I think we've got to certainly build on what we've done over the last 3 or 4 years, because I think we're in a really, really good place. I think the next step is that tier 1, the kind of Darwin project, and how we, I guess, commercialise women's cricket from a domestic point of view, so that we can offer, I guess, better contracts and I guess better competitions and so on. And I think that feels the next step. But in terms of where we're at with an England team and the 100, I feel like we're in a really good place. Facilities is always the big question, I guess. We certainly probably need some slightly better facilities down at the Utilita Bowl, especially when you've now got 2 professional teams playing there. So yeah, facilities and I guess really commercialising the women's game at domestic level so that we can keep having this many people in, but hopefully they're paying to watch us and you know, even more floodlit games at domestic level to really, I guess, get people bums on seats, which is always, I think, a great thing to do.